Welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. It is Wednesday the 14th of April. We have some new mods. We also have some updates. Before I move on to that, I want to apologise to anybody that watched the first incarnation of my mod review yesterday. I have posted on Twitter and I have posted on Facebook. I was not having a good day yesterday with my hay fever. I made a mistake at the start and I may have used a very bad word. I have now gone in, edited the video again and re-uploaded. So if you're watching it a second time and wondering to yourself, hasn't he already done these? I have. It's the same video, just had an edit. Yes, not my finest moment, although lots of people are saying they didn't even hear what I said. So anyway, apologies if you did. Apologies if your children were watching. I am incredibly sorry. So the updates for today. From top left, you wouldn't have it any other way. The Small Garage by Prezemek 23433. Riverbird, the map by MHMI has had an update. That's had 4 new crop types added: rye, rice, coffee and mustard. Not quite sure how that's going to play out. I might have to go back and have a look on that. The PB30X1 by Blendart Kolchosnik Jr. TT Czech Modding. The New Holland T7 series by Blauer, the Massive Ferguson 8600 by DMG Mert, the Massive Ferguson 4300 by Agri Mods, the Same Pack by Black Eyes Modding. That's had 4 new models added, I think, with medium and large frames, and the Vedestat Carrier XL 825 by BB Land Modding have all had updates today. Schamberg Valley has also had an update today, but that wasn't showing up on the Mod Hub as an update. It wasn't showing on the website as an update, but it is in the Mod Hub. Those are the updates. In front of me then we have got the weights, 600 to 2,400 kilogram. These are by Theresenhof Modding, 1.98 megabytes download. We have this one at 2 slots, this one at 5 slots, and this one at 5 slots. Nicely detailed, like the diamond plate. There's always that, yeah, so we still refer to it as checker plate. I'm pretty sure it's checker plate in the UK, but I think diamond plate in the US, or maybe there are different patterns for each one. But anyway, yeah, nice looking mods. They are under weights. So the 600 kilogram weight is 890. No options available. You get it just like that. The 1200 kilogram weight looks like that, and we can have standard, or we can have it with a 2-point attacher on the front. And then the 2,400 kilogram weight looks like that. Also, you can have with the 2-point attacher on the front. So the larger one does have lights on it, which the smaller two don't. Oh, actually, that one does, doesn't it? It has LEDs on the side, but it doesn't have indicators, I don't think. Whereas I think this one does. Now, the 2-point attacher, what does that mean? Well, it's kind of like a 3-point attacher, really. You 3-point onto it, but it does mean, this is a very small tractor for this, but you can actually hook other 3-point linked bits of equipment onto the front of the weight as well, but there's just not the third link for that, the top link arm. So you can if you want to. But like I said, we do have lights on it across the front and indicators on this one. So yeah, not bad at all. By Theresenhof Modding. Next, we have got the Robert Handling Pack by Paolo 5090R. There are 4 types within this. We have got the BMC, the FMC, the BGV, and the BRR. This one is the BMC. It's a kind of open-sided bucket configuration with a few different options, which we'll have a look at. These are very nicely made and nicely detailed. Then we've got a silage fork option, which is predominantly for forage crops, forage crop types. That's the FMC. We've then got the BGV, which is more of a regular sort of bucket attachment. And then we've got the BRR, which is a kind of not quite open-sided, but a shallower type of bucket. Those are the 4 types. Then we've got different sizes within those. So these you will actually find under telehandler attachments. We start off with the BMC 190, so we've got the 190, 210, 230, 250, 2000 litre, 2200, 2400, 2600. Now the options on each of these are the same. We can have it Type 1, Type 2, Type 3, 4, 5, 6. Just changes the color configurations of different panels, then back to 1. We can have the alligator clip, or we can have the oxygenated teeth jaws as our options. And then we've got the attacher type. We've got Manitou, telehandler, front loader, skid steer loader, or wheel loader. So you find it in telehandler, but then you can adapt it to any of the vehicles you want. And to be fair, there are loads of different adapters in the CSZ packs and a few other ones as well. So you can make most things fit other bits of machinery anyway. So those are the different sizes in those. We then come to the FMC 190 at 1,700 litres, the 210 at 1,900. I'm sure these numbers don't seem to match up with the capacities. Anyway, the 230 at 2,100. And then the 250 at 2,100. Now these are, like I say, these are your forage crop types, so a silage fork predominantly. Type 1, Type 2, 3, and back again. Then we've got alligator clip and oxygenated teeth jaws on this as well, and then the same attachers. It'll be the same attachers in all of these. I won't go through the attachers each time, but they can attach to anything. We then move on to the BGV, which is more of a standard bucket. 2,400 litres, 2,600, 2,800, 3,000. Yeah. On the buckets, like I say, take pretty much everything. These we got blue and black, black and blue are the two options, and then all the attacher types. And then we move on to the BRR, which is a shallower bucket. The 190 at 950, the 210 at 1,050, the 230 at 1150, the 250 at 1250, and I think that's it. Yeah, options on these as well: blue and black, black and blue, standard design, or you can have little tines like teeth on the front as well, and then the same with the attacher types on there too. So quite a few different options available. I say they're very nicely detailed on the textures, the color options, the pipes, the hoses, the fittings, everything. They look really good. Very, very nice indeed. So, that's the Robert Handling Pack by Paolo 5090R. You know what I forgot to do completely, and it's because I my apology at the start. I'm all out of whack, so to speak. The weights were 1.98 megabytes download, and the Robert Handling Pack is 42.11 megabytes download. They were 5 slots and 4 slots in those. Sorry, I meant to say that. Anyway, for all those people that have commented already asking what the slot counts and the downloads were, that's what they are. So next we've got the Polish Silage Silo by HubPhotos, 0.74 megabytes download. This is what it looks like when you get it. It's 5,000 to buy and place. Nicely detailed with the posts and tyres. It's a fairly narrow one. What I did was placed another one, and I have actually put grass in it. This has got about 70,000 litres, I think I put in it. 68,571, so not quite 70,000 litres, and that's full. That's as high as it goes. It will automatically fill to that level. Obviously, compacting may be an issue because it's quite pointy on the top, but that's what it will hold. It's 3 slots for the first one. And then you'll find this under placeables and silos. I say 5,000 to buy. The Silage Silo. Moving on from there, we have got this. I like this. I do like a lot of the mods, well, pretty much all the mods that OmaTana has released. This is the Maple Tree Passive Income by OmaTana. We've got a maple tree, and you can get maple syrup from it. When I say you get maple syrup, that's what the income's for. The leaves, they're actual maple leaves. That's amazing. Really, really well done. Now, with any placeable fruit trees and things, you add water, you get one price, you add manure, and usually that price doubles. This pays out 75 on easy, 50 on normal, 25 on hard per tree. That should double if you add the manure to it as well. But when you add the water to this one, it does something a bit interesting. 0.65 megabytes download, 4 slots for the first one to place. It's something a little bit different to have, isn't it? We should get the tree come up. There we go. When you put the water in, to water it, you get the maple syrup bucket. Look at that. So when the sap runs in the spring, when the temperature warms up a little bit and the sap runs, it drips out of the, now, spile, is it tap and spile? I'm trying to remember, that's the tap, isn't it? I think. Anyway, the tree's tapped, the syrup drops into there, or the sap drops into there, then you boil it all off, and you get your maple syrup. That's a really clever little extra on that. Liking that. I know tap and spiles for brewing, so it's probably just a tap, isn't it? But then we can add our manure in and we can double our profit margin on our maple trees. But yeah, I just think that's a cool thing to have. I think, you know, if you went a step further, I suppose you could have a little tanker, a little thing that you can collect your... Why is that not actually doing anything? So start overload. Normally it goes around the tree. It could be the ground it's on. The trigger did come up. That was 4,000 litres that took, and there's nothing around the base of the tree. Maybe that would be different on the map you're on. It could be the map. What we'll do though, let's double check something. Let's get my help menu on. Oh right, okay. So 5,000 litres of water is 100%. That's a lot. 4,000 litres of manure is only 40%. That's going to take 10,000 litres of manure. So that's why you'll start seeing it come out of the ground when you hit that limit. But anyway, there we go. That's the place called Maple Tree Passive Income. You'll find it under Miscellaneous. 5 grand to buy and place. I'm on normal economy, so mine's saying 50 per hour. But yeah, very nice indeed. Moving on from there, we have got the Nosewheel. This is by LucaModding. This is 4 megabytes download, 4 slots on console. This one's a bit of a beast. We've had a few of these before. The purpose behind this being that, especially this one because of the size of it, you can reduce the compaction of your tractor and tractor tyres by adding it on the front. You manually lower it so it's just touching the ground like your other tyres, and it kind of relieves the pressure across your axles and your tyres that are already making contact with the ground. But what it's also designed for is if you're in a tight field or you're trying to seed or whatever it is you're doing right up to the boundaries of your field, you turn that wheel 90 degrees and then you can turn your tractor round pretty much on a dime. I mean, within reason, which is obviously a lot better than most turning circles on the tractors that they kind of come with. This you'll find, I didn't write it down in my notes. Where was it? It was under tools. I'm going to say miscellaneous. Yeah, the Nosewheel is 4,000 to buy. Slot count will drop down to 1. Options available. We can change the design colour, which is the rim colour. We can change the main colour, which is the framework. And then we can have the mitres on wides or standards. We can have knock-in with the communal tread, and then Trelleborg with the standard tread. So it's the mitres where you can have the wide or standard on that. I went for the wide, I think. So what we do is we'll hook it up. I've just put the plant on the back as a kind of to simulate what may happen. So we put it on and it's lifted off the ground at the moment. You can probably just see it's just off the ground. So as I drive, the wheels aren't touching the floor at all. So what I can do is L1 with it highlighted, the front nose will be highlighted. L1, right stick up and down, I can manually adjust it up and down. Side to side, I can adjust the tilt of it as well. So if I get the tilt where I want it and then manually bring it down, what I can do is get it so it's just touching the floor. I'm just releasing the weight a little bit off the front axle. That would help with compaction. As you'll drive, as you can see, the wheels are touching the ground. I'm getting movement on the tyres. Wonderful. Now, what I can then do, if I lower it completely, L1 and circle, it lowers completely, it raises my front axle off the floor. I then go R1, and with my right stick I can turn it either direction, and then as I drive forward, or turn at the same time, actually I don't need to, I can just drive forward, it turns it pretty much round on its own axle, which is what it's designed to do. So when you're in a tight spot, you're in a like small narrow field, whatever it might be, it will turn around like so. That's what it's designed for. That's the Nosewheel. R1 and right stick Bring it back straight. Now you want to try and get it as straight as possible. There's no centering option on this. You have to do the steering bit of this on your own. And if I release the weight again, L1 and circle, I can then manually adjust from there, up or down. That's it. That's what it does. That's the nose wheel. That's how it works. That's what it's for. Very nice indeed. That's by LucaModding. Moving on from there, we've got the Krone Swadro 395 by BGamer003, 5.77 megabytes download, 7 slots on console. It's quite a narrow one, I want to say, because it's 395, 3.9 meters, but we will double check that. As we often do, we've got a few different windrowers available in various different sizes and capacities, so you will find this under windrowers. 395, 4 meters, there you go. Only requires 50 horsepower, we'll run at 11 miles per hour. Options available, we can have support or support wheel added on there as well if you want a support wheel. I think that's what I went for. Yeah, support wheel on there as well. So what we'll do, I went for a small tractor this time because often when I say a lot of these things require very low horsepower, I then use it on a 400 horsepower tractor, so I thought I'd use a smaller tractor to show you. Little bit of wobble on there as you move. I quite like that. That could be the connection between the tractor. I mean, it is the connection between the tractor, but I don't know if it will do that on all tractors, but I like that bit of animation, you know. It's a small thing. L1 and X unfolds it all. L1 and square, turn it on. L1 and circle, drop it down. Windrows out to the left at 4 meters, 11 miles an hour. And off we go. Now this tractor technically has only got 45 horsepower and it says it requires 50, but it is fairly flat. So potentially things like that you will get away with. Drop it down, go back the other way. There we go. The Krone Swadro 395 by BGamer003. Nice smooth animation. Job done. Moving on from there. We have this. This is the Lizard Lands 700 by Hemerson Dentinho. 4.42 megabytes download, 4 slots on console. This is a 7 meter plough. It does have the basket sections on the back, but it does plough and leave a ploughed state, not a cultivated one. There's a lot of detail on this as well. Now, I found when I was driving with it up, all of these sections move independently, which is brilliant. But obviously, because it's actually creating the furrows when you're ploughing, there wasn't a huge amount of movement when it was actually in operation, more as you were driving. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So this you'll find under ploughs. The Lands 700, 38 grand to buy, yeah, 7 meters, requires 140 horsepower, runs at 9 miles per hour. The slot count will drop from 4 to 1 if you buy any subsequent ones. We can change the main colour. Is there anything on that pallet? So you'll see as I'm driving, if I go over something bumpy, are they going to move? Not going to move now, are they? Yeah, you see them all kind of moving a little bit. They all seem to be fairly independent as I'm moving around, which is great. So as far as that kind of transport animation goes, very nice indeed. It doesn't fold up. It is a fixed bar. What we'll do, L1 and circle, drop into the ground. And we are ploughing at 7 meters at 9 miles per hour. Very nice. The Lizard Lands 700 by Hemerson Dentinho. Moving on from there, we have this. This is the Valtra BH140 by Hemerson Dentinho as well. 3.99 megabytes download, 10 slots on console. This is what you get. It's 140 horsepower. There are no options on this, I think, apart from colour. I think we can change the rim colour, we can change, but other than that, there's no tyre options or anything like that at all. We've had a few like this recently, haven't we? Similar designs, the Valtra kind of older style, South American style too, with the open cab type situation. So this you'll find under vehicles and medium tractors. The BH140 is 120 grand. I say for the base model, 140 horsepower. Slot count will drop down from 10 to 1 for any subsequent one. We can change the main colour to anything on that palette, and the rim colour to anything on that palette. That's it for options. Hop in, start it up. It's quite a big old unit when you think about, when you look at the scale of the character to the tractor. 140 horsepower set. Lights. No beacons. We do have indicators though. Horn. First person. Mirrors are very clear. Sometimes you get mirrors on various tractors and they're a little bit blurry, or they don't quite show you exactly what's behind you, which I've always found a bit odd. Yeah, not a bad position. Tidy. There's not really much else to say about that one. That's the mod. That's the Valtra BH140 by Hemerson Dentinho, which brings me on to the last of the mods for today. This one's a corker. I like it, not just for the look, but the sound of it as well. Wow. This is the BM-VOLVO LM620-640 by NorthModding Company, but the usual situation applies. So rather than say Volvo on console, we've got a Voivo. The Voivo NMC. It's a Volvo. Anyway, I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I love it, especially with the wide tyres. Got a really aggressive kind of look to it. With the wide tyres, you've got the lights over the wheel arches if you go for the wheel arch option. This one hasn't, slightly different wheel arch option. We've got chain tyres on this one as well. More, we'll look at all the options on it in just a second, but very cool. And we've also got the option on this one with regular forks and longer forks and a bucket. But again, we'll look at those in just a second. 19.79 megabytes download, 12 slots on console for the first one. I said by NorthModding Company, NMC. The bucket is the bucket's 3 slots and the pallet forks are 1 slot. So 3 slots and 1 slot. I think that's 1,000 litre. So you'll find this under wheel loaders. Only 8,000. It's brilliant. It's a very low horsepower, to be fair, 67 horsepower. Slot count will drop down from 12 to 1. We can have the 640, which is a 4-wheel drive. The 620 is a 2-wheel drive. You notice the back tyres then become smooth options. Wheel setup, we can have standard, wide, which I love. We can have the Pro Grip F, the Pro Grip F All. That I could get in trouble for that, couldn't I? We'll see. But if you go for the 2-wheel drive option, the 620, we've got standard, wides on the front, Pro Grip F, but obviously there's not an all option. It doesn't give you chains for the rear tyres because they're not driven, so it doesn't on the 2-wheel drive option. Then we've got standard configuration fenders, standard. Option 1 is the rounded fenders with the lights on the fenders. We've got option 2, which is the squared off fenders but with no lights on them, back to nothing at all. Then guard configurations, we've got side guards on the side windows. We can have a guard on the bottom section of the window, side and bottom, or all, which will protect you from, well, most things really. Beacon configuration, no or yes. 1 beacon on the top of the roof if you want it. Then on the back we've got big warning triangle, no or yes. Those are your options. Time to hear it. And we get in. Door opens and closes. Loads of detail in there. But listen to this. Love it. Love it. The animations as well on this. Just watch. Look at all the moving parts involved in all that. Oh, it's mint. Absolutely, I love it. Very, very cool. Horn. Lights. Obviously this has got the lights on the arches, which the other one doesn't. Beacon on top if you go for the beacon option. Top speed of a whopping 16 miles per hour. Wow. Now, it does have a rear trailer hitch. The rear trailer hitch does work, but it only works on pin hitch trailers. I have tried it on a ball hitch trailer and it didn't like it at all. So you get the trailers that have got the round, say the round, they're both round, aren't they? The donut shape is the best way of putting it. If you get trailers with the donut shape, which a pin goes into, it'll work on those. The ones that are what we kind of consider, I suppose, are more regular, like a trailer hitch for a car type thing, the ball hitch, it doesn't like those, but it will hook up to a pin hitch for moving things around if you want to. First person. Visibility is not great out the front, as you can see. I mean, it's okay, but obviously because of the design of it. Hop out of that one. Now, as far as the actual attachments go, you find those under tools and wheel loaders because it is a wheel loader. The standard bucket is 700 to buy, 1000 litre. Takes pretty much everything. Then the pallet fork, 400. And we can have short or the long fork, so you can do a double pallet or larger pallets, or it's up to you, whatever you want to. I don't think, actually, that's worth checking. Didn't think to check, because I don't have straps today. No. Thought I'd better check. It's one of those things you think, I'll miss it, and then people say, "Oh, you missed the straps." Yeah, just really very nice indeed. Obviously, that one's only got the two lights because then it's got lights on the fenders. Now, being a wheel loader, it should work. There's no reason at all why it won't work with. I know it has these that come with it, but it should work with any wheel loader attachments. This is the two-wheel drive version, as you can see with the smooth tyres on the back. Very, very nicely made, nicely detailed, very, very cool mod. And that is it for the mods for today. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.